Panel, I'm Gary Anthony Williams. I play Lip Lore on the show, the big rock monster. Yeah, please clap for me. I need it. Oh, I've never needed anything so hard. I also play Santa Claus on the show, and then there's some white guys back there I'm going to introduce right now. This isn't about color, but they're all white. Ladies and gentlemen, the co-creator and executive producer of the show, Mr. Matthew Senreich. Matty, come in. Hi, have a seat. I love you. Oh. Uh-oh, I think we have another co-creator and executive producer, writer and voice of Robobot, my dearest friend in the world, Mr. Zeb Wells. Oh boy, there he goes. There he goes with the high clap. What a high clap you have, Zeb.
Thank you.
You're clapping right in God's face. The voice of Courtney and my third best friend in the world, Mr. Breckin Meyer. Oh, I couldn't. Look at that guy. Look. Oh. Take it easy. Just take it easy.
Anywhere I can get it. Hi.
Hello? Breckin, I hope your mic works. Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, there's one more chair. That means one more butt to sit in it. The executive producer, voice of Titanium Rex, and my bestest friend in the world, Bryan Cranston. Oh boy. Guys, they have me on a tight schedule. We're already off schedule. Wow. With that introduction. Hey, I just want to remind everybody before we get to talking to these guys, and by the way, if anybody needs to borrow any money today, any of these guys will lend you money. Come dig through their pockets at any point. They're just that kind.
Man, we'll give it away.
Give you money. I just want to remind everyone to download the Sony Crackle app. What's that you say, Gary? I think you all know what it is. Just download the dang thing. There's 35 episodes up there, plus 3 specials that you'll want to get your eyeballs on. And there's also a SuperMansion augmented reality app up there as well. We are going to talk to these guys. We're going to get to know you intimately. There's going to be a massage that happens with all these guys. But before we do, I'm going to start right in with a clip. May I? Is that okay with you, Zeb? Is that okay with you?
Please do.
Let's start off with a little clip that I like to call the Scarecrow Guy clip. May we? On so few screens. From what I understand, there's a reason that Scarecrow Guy script was written. That has a special meaning with one of you. Was it Zeb or Matthew?
This is all Zeb.
Well, that scene was based on a previous panel we did where it was sparsely attended.
Was that C2E2?
C2E2, and but then it started filling in as the panel went, and we were like, oh yeah. But then every time we answered a question, everyone seemed to just be looking at their phones, and it turned out they were all there for the Timeless panel. That was it was after ours. I hope so.
Is this on?
Talk closer to the mic.
Hello?
Is Breckin's mic on? No. Guys, Breckin, you requested one thing today. You said, Gary, all I need is one thing in life. A microphone that works.
All I said was I want a hot mic.
A hot mic.
Is there a way to turn on Breckin's microphone?
You know what? I have a
Or
friend
do we really
coming.
not want him to talk?
Friend coming?
I have a friend coming.
All right, here you go. Uh-oh. No.
They
Try
can.
it, try it.
Put that there.
Oh, good.
Is it working?
Does that work? No?
Hello?
Oh.
Hi.
Hey.
I'd like to do a cut from my latest demo, if you don't mind.
Those silky.
Well, that's all the time we have. Thank you very much.
Take care, guys.
Guys,
Thanks for watching.
we really have to stay Crackle. They call them Crackle because they really crack the whip. They really want you.
Sony Crackle.
I mean Sony Crackle.
Sony Crackle.
Right. Well, they crack the whip on your sore knee. That's why sore knee
Sony Crackle.
If you don't say Sony Crackle, you get deducted from your paycheck.
Oh. Oh, well, I'm a 1%er, so none of this matters to me. But by the way, I'm sorry that you didn't get your voice too soon, but you do in this group of shows coming up. May I call you Breckin? Is that okay?
No.
Okay. Mr. Meyer?
Go on.
Boy, I thought we were past this. Damn it. You do have a special thing coming up where your character, Courtney,
Yes.
it kind of takes over some stuff with a little vampire action going on. You get a little bit of love coming up this season.
Courtney finally gets a little bit of love. He, I don't want to give it away.
Can we give stuff away?
So don't worry.
Yeah, there's sort of an underworld situation that happens. A sect of vampires and a sect of werewolves are both going after Black Saturn, and they use Courtney as a bargaining
As
chip.
a skeleton key, they use Courtney.
The douchiest bargaining chip ever.
Whoa.
Hey.
Easy there.
But in real life, do you get used a lot?
Almost daily.
Okay.
Almost daily.
Sorry.
Well, in Brian's contract, I have to give him piggybacks to the recording booth.
And piggy front. I've seen you give him a piggy
fronts.
front
Right.
ride.
I never did a piggy front until I met Brian.
You got to see
Front
this.
is a real thing.
It's a real thing. We call it a Cranston, but
Right.
it is.
Right.
It's impressive. The piggy front, and you got to stretch.
And you got to stretch.
You got to stretch.
And he moves a lot. It's not like
Yeah.
an easy ride when
No.
you're riding
Not
Bryan
at
Cranston
all.
on the
and
front.
you got to lift from your knees, because
Yeah.
I lift from my back the first time. Rookie move.
Is this the first time in your history of the show, Breckie, that you feel like, please, may I call you Breckie?
You may. That's
That
the
you
only thing you can call me.
That you feel like these guys have finally given you your time to shine?
Yeah, I feel like America has finally kind of like I'm Where's Waldo, and it's like, oh, there he is.
Yeah,
Let's shine a light on him and just let him go. So, I don't mean to tell tales out of school here, but a lot of offers were coming. Breaking Bad came to me.
Of course.
And I was like,
Turned it down. You
Yeah,
turned it down?
I turned it down. I was like,
Thank you.
I can
Thank
get,
you from
there's a guy. You're welcome. Oddly, Malcolm in the Middle came to me.
Wow,
Well,
turned it down?
yeah.
After it was canceled.
After it was canceled, they came to me. They're like, we want to do a reboot, and that's it. Tim Watley on Seinfeld, no offense, but I was their first choice. Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah.
Go through the whole
I can go
IMDb,
the whole
aren't you?
IMDb
Yeah.
page.
Wow. Well, I'm glad that they finally came up off of it and gave you your
I am
time
too.
to shine.
I am too.
Before I start taking questions from the audience, may I just ask each of you just a couple of things? I hope this isn't
We'd love it.
uncomfortable for you, Brian.
I'm a little uncomfortable, but it's all right.
Okay. Bri. How long has Breaking Bad been done? How long has Breaking Bad been done?
We finished airing the last episode 5 years ago.
5 years ago. 5 years.
Yay, 5 years!
5 years since you were Mr. Walter White on there. But I don't know what he said, and I won't listen to him.
Yeah.
I refuse to listen to that man.
But now you're doing the animated Breaking
They're
Bad.
doing the anime. That was my question. There's a new, no. Compare Walter White, Titanium Rex. Walter White, V, Titanium Rex. Which brings you the most joy in your Cranston heart? Walter White, and don't feel like you gotta step and fetch it for those two down there. This is your time to finally go, you know what, damn it, I'm Bryan Cranston and I have something to say.
Well, I would have to say that neither of those two, really.
Yeah.
Maybe it's yet to be seen. Who knows?
Yeah.
No, I mean, it's, Breaking Bad was amazing. Doing this voice is so much fun, I gotta tell you. It is great fun to get into the room by myself with no one else there, and I self-record everything.
So you don't take any
No
direction
no
from
direction.
anybody. And even if they tried to give it to you, you just turn your head.
I just laugh.
Yep. I don't blame you.
If you give Brian direction, he pulls out an Emmy, and if you give him more, he pulls out another Emmy. And if you give him more, he pulls out another
Now,
Emmy.
is the direction you want to see the direction of me placing my Emmy
Yeah.
on the table? Look at this direction. It's up and on the table.
And he drops it like a mic drop. He's gone through so many Emmys.
He should not do that. Do either of you remember the day that the idea for this show popped into your head when you went, oh my God, I have it. I have the thing that's going to get me to Comic-Con. I have the vehicle.
Brian and I came up with the idea early.
They weren't asking us. Oh,
Sorry. Go ahead, guys.
That's an interesting story because me and Matt had been working for a while. I'd been working on Robot Chicken with Matt. It's his show. And one day I walked into Matt's, this is literally how it happened. I walked into Matt's office and he said, Zeb, you need to create a television show. And I said, okay. And he said, you like superheroes, right? And I said, yeah. He goes, do something with the superheroes. So I went off and I do like superheroes. So
and then even better, he starts to write this show and he says, a Bryan Cranston type. And then we go to Seth Green to do the voice.
Yeah.
And then Seth does it and he goes, this doesn't sound right. And he's like, why don't you go to a Bryan Cranston type?
Seth Green, the non-union Bryan Cranston.
So it literally was him walking up going,
Create a show.
Oh, yeah. I mean, as much as I want to say it was a fancier story than that, it really wasn't.
That's fantastic. It was like just like like either a dare or pressure of going, I dare you to do it or go do this.
Yeah, sometimes you need the pressure to focus you.
I basically said I'm not hiring you for anything else unless you do this.
Wow.
I know.
Yeah, hey man, you play hard. That's what we say in Sherman Oaks, California. Hard. We made that word up. I have one. By the way, if you want to ask a question, where are the microphones out there?
I think before you even, am I screwing this up? I might be screwing this up. Am I supposed to cut to some sort of clip right now?
Maybe.
All right, maybe. I don't know.
Probably
I feel
not.
like I answered a question, so I might need to be doing this.
You maybe should.
Maybe.
But,
All right.
but let's take a couple of questions
Okay.
before
Never
you
mind.
cut.
I take that back.
No. You know what? Because let me tell y'all something y'all don't know. There's supposed to be a timer on this thing, right? It's like
I'm looking at that timer. I feel
do
pressure.
that. But you can't do that at 6:15 when the clock is a clock down end of the world timer counting backwards.
It's scary.
But if you do want to ask any questions, there are a couple of people up. Madam at the very front, state your name.
Oh my God.
Hello.
Oh boy. Madam at the front, state your name and who your question's for and ask away.
Hi, my name is Elena, and this is my 11th Comic-Con. Thank you. Today I came specifically for this panel because I love you guys, and I have a question and a non-question. The question is kind of like...
Wait a minute, hold on. Will we know when it's a non-question?
I'll tell you.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, so the question is, did former President Obama reach out and complimented you on the awesome job on Summer Vacation Special?
Let's say he did.
Yeah.
Was that an answer or a non-answer?
It's a non-answer to the question. I like to think he did. Yep.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, so in non-question...
Somebody left a very nice voicemail at the office. We don't know who it was.
So the non-question is, I'll start with Gary, but I'll get to Breckin too, so just don't cut me.
You know what they say in the Bible, Gary before Breckin.
So Gary, remember 2 years ago we did a SuperMansion signing?
Yeah.
And you were a Santa?
Yep.
And when I gave Breckin Meyer his fake flowers, and you were like, ooh, where's my fake flowers?
I 100% remember this, yeah.
Remember?
Yeah.
Got some fake flowers.
Guess what? I got you fake flowers.
That's how you do your 11th Comic-Con.
And I'm not done yet, so I'm going to get back to Breckin.
Okay, bring me that flower, girl.
Stop her.
Bring me that flower. Breckin, get out of here.
She's rushing the stage.
I love you the most.
What the hell?
We don't have to show that.
What the hell? Where's my flowers?
Yeah, would you like to hold my flower? It goes great with your shirt. And was that a non-question?
That was a non-question, and another non-question is for Breckin. So since you guys don't have a signing this year, which I usually go to, and I always bring Breckin something, so this year I brought him a dozen of chocolate eggs because he's not a soft egg.
Oh
so
my
let
God.
the world know this.
Wow.
And I brought 2 from Russia. They're a little special. And I bought 10 here, so you can share if you want.
Whoa, way to go.
These are
2 trips.
Okay.
My affection can be bought as well.
Wow. If anybody has any eggs or flowers for Cranston, now's the time. Whoa, whoa.
We have $20, $20. Let me hear 25. Do I hear 25, 25? I got 25 there. Let me see your 30 right there. We're looking for 45, 45, 45, 45. We $50 right there, $50. Do I hear 100? Do I hear 100? $100 right there. You're going to give me $100.
Yes. We have time for a couple more questions before we show the clip.
Look at what I got.
Yes, sir. Please.
I got diabetes.
State your name and.
Hello, I'm Jamie.
Diabetes.
Hey, Jamie.
I don't have anything to give you guys, but
Well, thanks for your question. Have a good night. Have a good night. Take care. Enjoy the ride home.
Go away.
no, actually, my question is for the dad from Malcolm in the Middle.
Yeah, go ahead.
I was also a dad on Malcolm in the Middle. Don't be an ass. Don't be a dick. Don't be a dick, dude.
Well, in that case, what was it like working with the iconic Frankie Muniz? No, in all seriousness, I love you. Thank you very much for Breaking Bad. You're a legend.
Oh, thank you, brother.
Yeah, good question.
You remember Gary from Malcolm in the Middle?
Yeah.
He played Abe. He's my best friend.
Hey, what are you talking about? By the way, if you're going to make statements like that aren't going to be questions, just say, thank you, you're very great. Just make it go up at the end so it still sounds like a question. Hey, sir, you.
The groaner.
Wow, look at that costume.
I know how to handle a mic.
That's a really good
Whoa.
Yeah.
Groaner.
I'm the groaner. I've got a joke and I've got a question.
Very good.
I feel like we're about to be shot.
Wow.
Here's the joke. What do you call a criminal who takes up a life as a comedian?
What was that?
A Comic-Con.
Okay.
Not bad.
Very nice.
Now, my question is, Black Saturn has his own sidekick, the Wrangler. When am I getting my own sidekick? Come on.
That's a great question.
I know, I asked it.
This is.
Hey, you know what? You'd make an improvement on our show over the guy who does that voice.
Whoa.
This
Why
is
don't you,
very disturbing.
We'll talk.
So is there anything in the works for a sidekick?
There's not, because the Groner and Black Saturn have their own thing going on that's getting more and more complicated every episode. So,
But sexy.
Let's uncomplicate
sexy.
that. Come on.
we might uncomplicate it at some
You know
point.
you're not the real groaner, right?
Am I?
Don't do this, guys.
No.
Don't do this. Thank you. Hey, hold on to those other questions. Did you want to throw it to that clip now?
Oh, that's a great introduction. I think we should go to a clip now.
Great costume.
Look at that.
Hold on to your questions
terrifying.
as we watch this beautiful clip. Anything you guys want to say about that clip before we go to the audience?
That's really David Naughton. That's the main thing. He's great. We met him at a convention.
Was he cool with just playing that version of himself?
He was very cool. He even added some flourishes here and there, and he liked to play a real werewolf as well.
But what I liked is when we submitted the script, Sony Crackle was like, you can't make fun of David Naughton like this. And we're like, oh, no. He's game to do this voice. He wants to do this. And it was, we had a fantastic time with him.
Excellent.
Yes, indeed.
I go now to the audience. Which side did we stop on? We stopped on the groaner over there, right? Over here.
So my name's Abraham. This is to Bryan Cranston. What is the biggest difference between doing voiceover work and just traditional acting?
The paycheck. We get scale doing voiceover work, and it's been a long time since I worked for scale on camera.
He ain't lying.
You know, it's very challenging. I find it very challenging because when you stand in front of a microphone and you need to convey a specific emotion with just your voice and just a little inflection of your voice, I find that difficult. So I like to do it because it's challenging and it's fun, and these guys write some really fun material, so it's real easy to do. You can show up in your pajamas, and because I sleep naked,
Nature's pajamas. In your nature's
pajamas.
He shows up in nature's pajamas to do the work. But Bryan, he's also, because he's used to the high dollars, he gets what's called an inter-throat massage during the session, where there's a guy who comes up behind him and just gently massages the inside of his throat with his thumbs.
Yeah, it's called an esophageal rub. And a thumb or a couple fingers go down through my throat. I just open wide like a baby bird.
Oh.
Yeah.
And it's just like a little massage in there. And it just warms up my throat and ready, and I can do voiceover for at least 20 minutes.
20 minutes.
Strong 20.
Yeah. And then also, if he's busy with his vocal cords and everything, you got to go in through the back.
Yep.
All the way up. And that's really where you get the deep massage for. Then you can go about 22 minutes.
They call that the Muppet. They do the Muppet on it.
If I make a confession, that has nothing to do with my vocal cords. So it's just fun.
Kind of wish you would have mentioned that before.
Yeah, I didn't mention that to you. And I'm sorry, I did lie to you about that.
Whew.
Well, we learned that about Cranston. Was that was your question, sir? Thank you very much. Great question. Great asking. Yes, sir.
Hi, I'm Bryan, and this is a question for the whole cast. I'm a big Breaking Bad fan, and what would be your impression for Aaron Paul? Like, you know how he says it's like bitch all the time? How would you guys say it?
I think, Breckin, you must have been up for that role, wouldn't you?
I was up for that role. It is one of those roles you look at and you're like, why the fuck didn't I get that audition? But I know why, because I saw Aaron incredible in the show. I have yet to see the show, but I hear great things about it. So it's in my queue right after, No, I mean, I'm going to watch it.
Wait a minute, what's it?
Right after Riverdale, I'm going to watch it.
Okay.
And I'm excited. I just finished Malcolm in the Middle. By the way, spoiler alert, they all die at the end, which is weird. But it's a weird car.
Funny way.
Super funny.
Super funny.
Funniest car accident I've ever seen on TV. I don't think I couldn't even do it justice. Aaron Paul was so crazy good in that role.
You can't say the word bitch.
I can't. Also, legally and religious reasons, I can't say the word bitch.
Yeah.
Zeb, you got an impression of Aaron Paul?
And Aaron Paul, I can't cry on command, so it's hard to do an Aaron Paul in Breaking Bad. He's crying all the time, right? He's like, you bitch!
Oh, you're looking at me to do this?
Yeah, where's your
bitch? I am
why I don't act
horrible
on
at
this show.
impersonations, but I will do lip lore doing perfect.
Please.
Bitch.
Perfect.
Hey, I'm going to take a question over here.
Yo, bitch, Mr. White.
Oh, okay. All right.
It'd be amazing if that was Aaron Paul over there.
So 2 years ago, I really put myself out there, man. I came up here. I let you guys know what I had for breakfast.
Yeah.
Oh, you had that shitty breakfast.
I had oatmeal with Nutella.
Yeah.
And you told me you were going to come over and have some with me.
I did. You don't remember that? You don't remember Spain. You're telling me all the times I forget.
You sent me. I saw the videos of you and that guy in
you
Spain.
saw it,
eating
yeah.
Nutella.
When we were in Mallorca.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Breckin, I had oatmeal and Nutella every day.
I don't understand Nutella. I have to be honest. I don't understand it. I've seen it. I like peanut butter. I like chocolate. But I don't understand what it is. It's hazelnut?
It's hazelnuts and chocolate.
Hazelnut.
Yeah. Well, what's not to understand about that?
I think I'd like it. I've never had chocolate and be like, it's just missing.
Well, here's the deal. The hazelnut is one of the more complicated nuts. It's also called a filbert. You wouldn't put that in your mouth.
I wouldn't put that in my mouth.
Filbert.
Filbert's delicious, all right?
I put one person named Phil. I mean, one thing named Filbert in my mouth one time, but I got the job. So. Right? You're welcome, and that's why we have Road Trip.
And thank you for that setup. Yes, sir.
Hi, Martin. Good seeing you guys again from the press. A lot of ball squeezing, good times.
Wait, what? What did you do?
Is that just how you say things are happy? Hey, man, I had a lot of ball squeezing. Is that just your...
Well, I remember there was a good amount of conversation regarding that going on.
He was in our press conference earlier where we spoke.
Yeah, I don't remember that.
No, not of what you speak.
I was actually wondering, one of the episodes you happen to have J.K. Simmons in there, and I was wondering what it was like working with him, and if that was like as accurate of a interpretation as you guys made a parody out of.
Yeah, he had come in and done Robot Chicken a couple times, so we always had a lot of fun with him. And then the writers just, we didn't need a celebrity. We didn't, they, for some reason.
Wait, what?
Well, we're just, for some reason
he's not a
pitched-
celebrity?
Well, it's not like we were looking for a celebrity and landed on J.K. Simmons. They just said, wouldn't it be great if J.K. Simmons was in this episode? And I said, I guess. But then they broke it, and it was great, and he came in and did it. And
He's got like an Oscar.
he does have.
I mean, you're saying like, I guess it'd be fine. It'd be pretty great.
I do
He
know
has an Oscar, not like an Oscar.
No, he's got both. He's got the like Oscar and he's got the Oscar.
You're doing a great job selling this answer here.
I do know he has an Oscar. It's in the episode. If you had watched it,
It's in my queue right after Riverdale, right after Breaking Bad. I will watch SuperMansion. I can't wait. But I will say, J.K. I think it was the first time he was on Robot. I wrote a sketch that was Oz, the Wizard of Oz in Oz, the prison. And we had J.K. come in and be Vern Schillinger, but we couldn't say his name because of lawsuit or whatever. But he was so down to play. And he came in the booth and he was so funny and so game to do anything that we kept putting him on Robot.
Yeah,
and
he just
loved
kept
it.
coming back.
He just kept coming back because one of the great things about the voiceover work is you get to do roles that you wouldn't get to do. Like on Robot, I get to do Jesus and Lindsay Lohan, which are very similar. But,
Same person.
I think that's one of the things, JK, and we're lucky enough to get some of the guest stars because you get to play these characters you'd never in a million years get to do. Although I'm saying this based on JK playing himself from Oz. But other than that, I mean that.
yeah.
Very cool. Thank you very much. Great
Thank
question,
you.
by the way. Great question. Yes, madam.
Yes, my question would be for Bryan Cranston. If you had two different scripts in front of you, one a serious drama and another one a serious, a comedy, which one would you prefer to do?
The better one.
They're both well paid.
No, I get the inference of the question. But, it's basically what's the best. It's always about the written material. It really is. If you could have a great character, but if that material and that story isn't cohesive and it doesn't compel you, it doesn't make you emote, it's not worth anything. It won't work. So I look for what's a really good story, and then go from there. And you can actually develop more of a character as you go along, but the story itself is pretty well set by the time it gets to an actor.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And if you have a great character and not good writing, you end like Breaking Bad. You end up with a show.
Wait, hold on. Are you talking about the Breaking Bad you haven't seen?
I saw the trailer.
Oh, the trailer.
Yeah.
Okay.
But it seemed to me great character, writing. Well, kind of phoned it in. It's fine. But, when you're dealing with a SuperMansion, now you're home. You know what I mean? Like, now you got quality scripts and quality characters.
Comes together with the,
The first line of my obituary. Best known for Titanium Rex on SuperMansion.
Here lies.
Yes, ma'am.
Hi, my name is Natalia. I kind of have a boring question, but it's like for everybody.
If it's really boring, can you ask it in an interesting voice?
Oh my God, okay. So what was the most challenging part of the whole show for making it for all of you?
That was a good question and a great voice.
It was great.
I like that. Most challenging for me was probably having to figure out how to build all these puppets that were very difficult to build and expensive, and
someday we'll figure it out.
Someday we'll figure this thing out. But our puppet team did an amazing job in the way this looks, I think. What would you say?
I think the hardest part for me was we came up with all these characters and they were kind of jokes, like Black Saturn is Batman if his parents had never died and he's just a big douche, and Brad was the Incredible Hulk, but he had to take drugs to be the Hulk, and they were all characters that had a joke behind them. But in order for the entire series to work, you had to get in there and figure out why they were funny aside from that joke. So figuring out all those characters was the hardest part for me.
Brian,
just
or-
looking.
Yeah, you guys had it real rough. Let's.
In my titanium Rex voice was being able to sing a song and rap.
Oh yeah.
I'm an old guy. I don't know. So that was probably the hardest thing I've ever tried to do.
Yeah, the Comic-Con episode that you've seen clips from start with a Super Bowl shuffle type rap that Brian has to carry on his shoulders with an assist from Gary.
Oh, yeah.
So check it out.
By the way, I did want to ask you, as a follow-up to her question, when I listen to your voice work in that, like, you take it down there. It's down there deep and raspy. Do you ever have any problems from it, or is there some special warm-ups you do?
I get the esophageal rub, you know,
okay.
and then
I forgot. Yeah, I forgot about your.
And then one from the underside.
Okay. Yeah. They shake hands in the middle. And did you have anything to add to that, Breckers?
No.
Okay. Yeah, thank you, by the way. Thank you. I love you.
Thank you.
Yes.
How you doing? My name is Steve, and my question is mostly directed to Mr. Cranston, but it's open to everyone else. I'd like to know if you could be a supervillain instead of a superhero, who would you be, and who would you pick?
And this has to be one in existence, or can he create one?
Either one is good.
Oh, take your time, BC. Take your time.
Well, if I had thought about that a couple times, and actually we started talking about the possibility of doing a character. I'm not going to mention the character because I bet you might even know it, but it might happen at some point, and I'd really like to see that happen. But any kind of, you cannot play a villain as a villain. That person has to have justification for everything that he or she is doing. And that's what makes it so great. And if they build those two, the hero and the anti-hero, step by step, then you have a situation where your hero has to be just a fraction smarter than the antagonist. And that's when you've got a great story. I hate it when you're watching any story, and that includes superhero movies or anything, that all of a sudden the antagonist gets dumb and he makes mistakes that his character up till now wouldn't be making, and they do it in order to drop his or her awareness so that the hero can come in and win. And I'm just like, no. I get frustrated with that. I'm sure you do too, watching that. You want to see it battle back and forth. But I would like to do a movie series where I play a. I am. By the way, let me ask you a question.
Sure.
Why? Oh, you about to turn it around on his ass.
I'm going to turn around.
Bring it on.
You about to get questioned, fool.
Why do you see me more as a super villain and not a superhero?
Oh shit! You got Cranston.
What?
Yes.
This motherfucker. This motherfucker. This motherfucker. This motherfucker. This motherfucker. Oh shit.
So,
Oh, you did shit. Oh no, you didn't.
But he did.
So I'm gonna break it down between the two characters, between the fact that he plays a superhero in one area, and the other area he struggled with. Well, his character Walter White struggled with becoming that drug lord, but then trying to keep that family persona. So you did dip on that dark side because as a drug lord, when you play Walter White, you brought up the fact that Walter White was always able to be one step ahead of everyone else that tried.
I haven't seen it yet. What the?
Spoiler?
So,
Was that a spoiler alert?
so, like for instance, I could see you as Nathaniel Essex, Mr. Sinister. I could see you doing something like that where you are a genius in one aspect, and the other aspect, you could be completely ruthless, and then turn around and then just be completely charming.
Okay, don't talk about my personal life. Actually, that was the character. I'll admit to you that Mr. Sinister was the character I was thinking of, and that we were actually beginning to talk. It'd be fun. And to be honest with you, from just I guess it's a selfish standpoint, I don't want to do a character that has been done several times before. I don't want to be compared like, well, his Commissioner Gordon was da-da-da-da-da. I don't want to do that. I want to take something that hasn't been done and really try to create from the ground up.
I definitely.
I'm assuming it's not going to be the same version of Mr. Sinister on Robot Chicken that you did. Just pointing that out.
God, you know, Robot Chicken is so forgettable that
I totally understand.
Whoa.
Damn, we got
Oh, this motherfucker! This motherfucker! This motherfucker! This motherfucker! Oh, shit! No! Oh! Oh, boy.
Damn, we all three got Cranston.
Man, once you get Cranston,
you got try
one more question before we go to the next
Thank you
video.
again.
Hey, man, great questions, and you made Cranston kick stuff.
Yeah.
Yes, please.
We're going to have to buy 3 mics when we leave here.
Yes, yes, sir.
Hi, everyone. My name is Matab Khan. I'm a student at John Jay College, and my question is for Bryan. A lot of us here today, we grew up...
Well, then I don't care where you went to college.
Okay. Well, okay. A lot of us grew up with Bryan, you know, being a father figure, you know, second dad to us growing up, and you know, whether it be Hal from Malcolm in the Middle or Walter White from Breaking Bad. Can we get some confirmation that they're one of the 2 same characters?
My first question is your mom getting the child support checks? Because I've been sending them regularly, so is that all right? What is that, you groaned?
Yeah, no, I felt that, man. That's some heart. That's beautiful, brother.
Thanks for that. Yeah, I guess because of my age, you're gonna play a lot of dads. I did hear that rumor. What was it? Walter White went into a witness protection program, and they woke up and he was Hal.
Or the other way around.
Or the other way around. Yeah. But if he was first Walter White and became Hal, boy, something happened. He dropped a tremendous amount of IQ along the way. I don't know where that went, but no, they're both fun to play. It's kind of extreme characters, but thank you for mentioning that. I appreciate that. And say hi to your mom.
It's beautiful. Hey, Zeb. Guys, we will take more questions after this clip. Zebersers, did you want to set up?
I'd like to show everyone a trailer for our special coming out in November. We've got a Thanksgiving special. And we're going to show, with all the trimmings, and we're going to show you a trailer right now.
Again, Zeb, that was taken from a true story. Once again, taken from a true story.
Absolutely.
It's beautiful. That's beautiful. I like how you reach within yourself to find the art for others. It's beautiful.
Yeah, it's a wilderness of delightful tales inside.
All up inside
body.
you?
Yeah.
Oh, that is wonderful. Hey, guys, I want to take more questions, Zeb, if you and I finish having a soft moment.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Hey guys.
What's up?
So I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm great. How are you?
Yeah.
Doing great. Thank you very much.
I'm hungry.
Yeah. 2-part question for Breckin. Number 1, when can we expect Rat Race 2?
Well, I brought my own trailer, so I'm just kidding. I don't think they're doing it. I hate to break it to you. You can watch it again.
So do you want to answer this question? When can he expect it?
Oh, when can you can expect it whenever you want. I don't think we're doing. I don't think it's gonna happen. How about that? Seth Green's in rehab, so if he gets out, maybe we'll do it. Until he gets out of rehab, we can't do it.
And the second part to that
I shouldn't say he's in rehab. He's exhausted. And dehydrated.
So should they?
Yeah.
Should they? They don't need to hashtag Seth is in rehab. They need to air
If you
quote.
guys please hashtag Seth's rehab,
Okay.
I'd be really, really happy. And he wouldn't be. So it's a win-win.
You realize he will kill you.
Yeah. Hashtag Seth's rehab.
And yet another part to your question?
Yes. The second part is, how many times did you watch Afro Whores?
It's from Rat Race, if you guys don't get it. But yeah. You're very funny.
Oh, well, thank you very much. You too.
You're very welcome.
Thanks, man.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Oh, all right. My name is Diego, and I have a question for Bryan Cranston.
We have one of those in the back.
Yeah, it's a two-parter, but a short two-parter.
All right.
One, you started your career doing voiceover work. In particular, the ones I remember, like Osamu from Macross Plus, and I believe Fei Long in Street Fighter II, the animated movie. With that said, what was the most challenging voiceover work outside of SuperMansion that you've ever done in your career? That's the first one. And then second, were you surprised that you started from like very little in terms of voice acting to, Hal and Malcolm in the Middle, and eventually Walter White in Breaking Bad, culminating in your Emmy? Were you surprised at how, you shot up in terms of progression in your career to where you're at now?
I was surprised.
Wait a minute. You're saying you were surprised that that happened to him?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm still shocked.
In my next film, Rat Race 2, I'm going to be...
I just got motherfucking Cranston.
I'm too tired to walk the walk again.
But, you get it.
I did a bunch of voices on Power Rangers.
Oh yeah, forgot that one.
Yeah, Power Rangers. And they didn't do anything to disguise the voices, so I had to, if you wanted to work, and you had to do more voices, not just your straight speaking voice, so you had to come in and show them, you could squeeze off certain parts of your throat and be able to, like there was a villain that I played, and I was like this, and it was like a rock monster of some sort. I forget what his name was. Maybe you know what his name was. Anyway, by the time I would leave that session, my throat was raw. That's where the rub came. No, no. That's so. I mean, it was just physically demanding to be able to do that. And as you're doing it, you're having fun, and you're doing take after take, and you leave, and you're going, oh my gosh. So you have to learn how to protect yourself.
Did you do multiple episodes of?
Yeah. I did a lot of episodes.
But it's different characters.
Yeah, different characters. Yeah, different characters. Yeah.
And what was the second? Oh, was he surprised at his meteoric rise?
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. I was a working actor, and I was making a living since I was 25 years old. I got Malcolm in the Middle when I was 40. And so it was great, but I can tell you that if that never happened, if Breaking Bad never happened, to be able to say that you're a working actor and that's how I make my living, however level that might be, is the greatest thing that I've ever happened to my life. So I'm very grateful.
That's nice. Just a little addendum to that. I was on Malcolm in the Middle. I was just a recurring on there. But one day we were doing this huge scene, and this I've never even brought back up to him. We're doing some huge scene at a convention center, and there were a bunch of background actors who kept coming up all day and asking you questions. And he would take them aside and talk to them and answer their questions. And I walked up, and there were hundreds of actors there that day. And I walked up to you, and I said, I've never seen anybody just take the time with people like that. That is really cool. And he said, I said, don't talk to me directly. Right,
just
he did. No, you said,
get away.
You said, Blackie, don't talk to me directly. No, I was playing a character named Blackie McFerguson. No, he didn't. He said to me, I made myself a promise, if I was ever the head of a show or the star of a show, I would not be an asshole. And that stuck with me to that time. I don't know. You may have gone back on that now.
I'm one now. Yeah, I'm one now.
I don't think he applies that law anymore.
But back then, that was really cool to see somebody at the level he was then, making sure he took time out for other people was one of the greatest things I've seen in the business of show. Yes, sir. You.
Hi, my name is Bryan, and this question is for Bryan.
We already have one.
I know.
Sorry.
So, Bryan, as one of the most amazing actors of our time, is this an acting question?
What do I think of Breckin Meyer?
No, I was wondering.
I think you're pronouncing Breckin wrong.
Is it Breckin? Or?
Yes.
Yeah. When you're going between
Breckin
roles.
bad.
Whoa, whoa, whoa. Hold on. Hold on. Just gently place it down. Breckin bad.
Yeah.
Dude, you got it.
It's just me crying in my house. Just furiously masturbating and crying. Next week on Breckin Bad.
A lot of people will watch that show. A lot of people will watch that show.
Yeah.
But you had it for the other Bryan.
Oh, no, my question is for that Bryan.
Yeah, that Bryan Cranston. Yeah.
So when you're transitioning between roles, like, a super serious role in Drumbo, or like a tragicomic role in Breckin Bad, or, like in like a really ridiculous, funny role like in SuperMansion, is there anything you have to do as an actor to kind of like psych yourself into changing? Because, like every actor obviously has to, transition between roles, but you give everything to like your roles. They're like absolutely phenomenal. So is there anything you have to do to sort of like psych yourself up or go between those sort of genres in a way in your head?
No, it's something that I think every actor looks forward to, having that opportunity to be able to navigate between those roles. So when Malcolm in the Middle finished, after 7 years and 162 episodes of the show, I got offered a couple pilots to do, nice, playful, goofy dads. And I thought I wouldn't know how to do it differently right now. I just did that for 7 years. So I turned them down. You have to be able to know when to say no. Which is hard for an actor, because when you first start out, you take everything, and you should take everything. You need to pay your bills, and you want that experience. But at a certain point, you need to learn how to say no, so that you're open and available to something that is better for the long-term health of your career, and that's what I look for.
So variety, basically.
Yeah, look for a variety, and you keep working the different aspects of your personality, that you do comedy or serial comedy or whatever, and usually I look for something that I haven't done recently to go back. And if I can plug, I'm doing a play here in New York later on, so
going to see it.
Come see it. It's called Network, and it's going to be at the Belasco Theater. We start performances on November 10th. So please do come.
Thank you very much, Bryan.
Thanks very much.
You guys
Appreciate
are
it.
awesome.
Thank you.
I'm joining the cast of Hamilton.
Out for drinks later?
Can I ask you a question? A legit question. I've seen the trailers of Breaking Bad. When Walter White was really going down the rabbit hole and really getting dark, was it weird? Were you able to shut it off after work, like when you go home? Or
yeah, I had a policy of what to do. Once you have those days when you're playing characters that are despicable, or you're killing people, or it's just emotionally distraught, I would go into the makeup and hair trailer, and I'd take out 2 hot, moist towels, and I would wrap one around my head like a turban, and I'd wrap another one around my face, almost like you're gonna get a professional shave, and I would just sit there in the chair and allow the heat and the moisture just to pull out all the toxins from the day, both real and imagined, and I would just wipe it off. I'd take off Walter White's clothes, put on my own, and I left him at the studio because I just couldn't. I didn't want to take him home with me, so that when I got home and looked at the next day's work, it was from a more objective point of view. Oh, I see, this is going to happen and that's going to happen, and I can do this, and oh, that's another idea, I can possibly do that. And then in the morning, I'd start getting back into the character.
Right.
I'd put on his clothes, and I'd shave my head, and then that's when that starts to build up again.
So cool. That's super cool.
Very nice.
Sorry, I forgot you guys were here. Go ahead.
He was lost in it. Yes, sir.
Hi, my name's Anthony. This is my girlfriend, Stacy, and we watch a lot of...
Hi, Stace.
Hi, Stacy. That's my girlfriend, Lindsay. She's over there.
Hi, Lindsay.
Hi, Stace. They're into foursomes, by the way.
Yeah, I don't know what you guys are doing after,
just
but
thought I'd mention that.
If
They
you happen
really
to end up
like that.
If you happen to end up at the W Hotel, room 2216, I'm just saying, There's a bowl lacking some keys.
Noted. Noted. So our question is for the one and only Bryan Cranston. We watch a lot of late night TV.
Breckin, you're better than this. You're better than what you're being.
Tell
right now.
him.
Breckin's
I was in Garfield. Yeah, and Garfield too.
Okay, that's all I was going to ask
There
you.
was some unanswered questions.
Okay.
It was James Garfield, the president,
Garfield,
right?
the story of James Garfield. I'm doing the Andrew Garfield movie right now.
Even though you're really making this question to Bryan, would you just say Breckin while you're talking straight to Bryan just so he feels
contractually,
something?
you have to ask me one question. No, please, go ahead. He's here.
Okay, so we watch a lot of late night TV, and we're always excited when you have a new project because you'll usually do the circuit. And we were just wondering, is there any show you particularly like going on, and is there a show you particularly do not like going on?
You know, I got to tell you that I've been in this business for 40 years, and the people that I didn't take to and rather disliked, I can count on one hand. And I don't know why that is, but by and large, they're really good people. They're really great, fun people to be with. All the guys doing the late night shows, I love them all. I really do. They come backstage, they know that they want you to be funny or entertaining on their show, and they come backstage before the show starts and talk to you, hey, how are you? Catch up on things. And they talk about sketches that they might do, or hey, when I say this, that's a tee up for you to tell that story, and it makes everyone look good. It's like playing tennis with someone who's really good. You get better, and I learn a lot from those guys too. So you know, it's part of the job when you do a project like SuperMansion or a television, you know, live action or a movie or a play. You have to go out on the circuit and start promoting it so that people can be aware of it. And like, for instance, this movie I've got coming up in January with Kevin Hart. I'm not going to mention it now because that would be kind of crass, and we're taking up time for SuperMansion, but it's a really fun movie called...
Wait, what the fuck? Wait, what the hell?
The Upside.
Wait
So
a minute.
it's called The Upside with Kevin Hart and myself. Very funny movie, January 11th, but I'm not going to talk about that now. I'm just not going to talk about it.
And a little surprise, surprise for Bryan.
The lovely Nicole
Mr.
Kidman.
Hart.
Oh my gosh. But I mean, that's my honest answer, is that I look forward to doing it, and you want to cooperate. So there's some actors who you see them go on these shows and you're going, oh, why are they doing this? They give one-word answers and they didn't really put any effort into this. And I feel as long as you're going to be there, you might as well do everything you can to try to have fun and be entertaining.
Thank you, one and only Bryan Cranston.
Thank you very much.
Sorry, just one last thing. Can you say hi to my mom? She's a huge fan.
Hi, Mom.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I'll tell
you
her
and the
later.
moms. Yes, ma'am.
See, I brought it back to his thing. I know. I'm
Wow.
sorry.
Yes. What question did you have for Breckin?
Hi.
Oh, I'm just kidding. No, you go ahead.
Who is that about to ask a question?
What happened?
Hi, how are you?
Oh, okay.
Where
Hi.
are you guys looking?
There's a little kid over there.
There's a tiny kid.
Don't you worry about what we're looking at.
I mean, that's
Focus
fine.
on your question.
Adorable. Well, I can't ask it if you're not looking this way.
Whoa. She just. Not as. Oh. He's taking up.
That's how I fight my family.
Okay. You know what? I want to apologize for those guys. Guys, please.
Don't you apologize for me.
Don't
you speak for me.
I will.
Don't you dare.
I'll apologize for everyone except Breckin.
Hi.
Hi. How are you?
I'm doing well, guys.
What's your name?
My name's Donisha.
Hi, Donisha.
Hi,
It's a beautiful name.
Thank
You're
you.
way better than a child.
That's
What's
not nice.
What's your question?
You were just like, my name is Denisha and I'm tired of y'all's shit. Can
That's
I ask
my question.
I don't know if you're adding that attitude just because, I have hoop earrings or something.
I can't see. Do you actually have hoop earrings?
I do.
Oh.
I know, stereotypical. I can't help it. But
I don't know what that means.
I have a question for...
Mine were studs, by the way, that I took out. Just so you know, the space work I was doing, those were studs. They weren't hoops.
This is
Just so you know. We can talk space work later. Go ahead.
Okay, gotcha. So basically it's for, I guess, the four of you. I'm not leaving you out, though, because I love you. I'm a huge fan.
I love you too, Donisha.
Like, you're great. But the four of you, I'm with a group of friends. We're all super creative on like a bunch of positive energy plus ultra greatness that we're trying to do.
Ugh.
And basically, you have two amazing actors and two amazing creators of a great show on a panel. And I'm a writer, one of my best friends. He's also an aspiring actor. And from a writer's standpoint, how do you create such amazing work? Because that segment with like the custody battle over Superman, we can't even get past that episode. Like, we're just in tears every freaking time because it's so great. And I'm like, how did they even think of this? Like, it's so epic. And then as actors, the way that you guys have done your work over your career, it's amazing. Like, I used to watch Road Trip every day after school because it just had me in tears. Great movie. And then Malcolm in the Middle and everything else that you've done, like, you are a legend, and it's so cool to be in your presence right now. Like, it's nuts. So I'm just trying to figure out, as writers, how do you create what you do in your way? And as actors, what advice would you give to an aspiring actor breaking in?
For me, you guys are growing up in this amazing era where you can make stuff that people can see. You know, for me, when we started Robot Chicken, they had this thing called the World Wide Web, and, you know, it was on a dial-up system or something, and no one could see what you make, and you made it with friends, and you just kind of made it on this VHS tape or something, and then you just showed people. I mean, I still remember getting that South Park VHS and saying, oh my God, I can't imagine how someone would come up with this idea. I think the best thing you can do is, even if it's bad, just keep doing it, and the harder you work at doing it, the better it will get. I mean,
that's also the motto at SuperMansion.
Yeah,
Even though it's bad, we just keep doing it.
Till they shut the lights off. Just keep.
And it leads to meeting all these great people. I met Zeb, is a perfect example. Zeb sent me a VHS tape of him and his friends doing something called, it was him as Thor, dressed up with his friends, dressed up as like the Hulk and Wonder Woman, doing like a real world Metropolis thing.
I was really ripped back then, guys.
Or not.
Or not.
But it was an amazing experience to just, I met him, and on Robot Chicken Season 3, I was like, what about that kid from Colorado? He would be great to bring on this show. And that's how it ended up playing out for him to work with Robot Chicken.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Well, that episode that you're talking about, I think that was one of the hardest episodes because it just kept not working, so we just kept rewriting it. So I think you have to love what you're doing, but then also once you've done it, hate it enough to attack it and see what's wrong with it, and then do it again until it's better.
That applies for actors as well. It's the work ethic. Just know that it takes a tremendous amount of work. And the one thing that you can control is that you can outwork other people. It's all about putting in the time and energy. And as like Malcolm Gladwell says, 10,000 hours at any one given thing can make you an expert at it. And it's just about keeping at it and then hoping for the lucky break, which we have all had. And so we wish that for you too.
Thank you, Donisha.
Thank you.
Brecken, last question. We gotta
do this.
We gotta go to the little person over there. Guys, first of all, it's gonna be our last question, but I'm gonna pre-thank you all in case they try to knock us out of here as soon as that little person gets his chance. And who do we have over there?
This is James.
Hi,
James.
He's feeling a little bit shy,
Why? What's up, James?
but he really would like to know why Garfield watches so much TV.
Oh.
You know what? Where is James? I can't. I want to see James. James? Where are you? Can't see you. Hi.
If this isn't a Bryan Cranston question, then I don't think I need to be.
You should just go. You should go.
Go up to him.
You come here. Legally, I can do this, right? Yeah. Okay. Hi, James.
Whoa.
Hi, buddy. What is that? Who is that? Can I see it? Hi, buddy. Do you like Garfield? Me too. You know what, though? He eats too much lasagna, huh? Does he eat too much lasagna? Should I tell him to stop watching so much TV? I'm going to tell him. Because Odie doesn't watch as much TV, right? Okay, so I'm going to... He doesn't even watch TV. That's what I'm saying. But Garfield's lazy, huh? All All right, so I'm going to talk to him, okay? You give me a high five? How come you won't give me a high five? Why won't you give me a high five? What are you doing? You're not going to give me a high five? All right, fine. I don't want a high five. Don't give me one anyway. Thank you, buddy. It was nice meeting you. All right, I got to go now because that angry guy in the pink shirt, he gets real mad if I don't show up.
It's salmon.
Yeah. I apologize.
Breckin, the Kid Whisperer. Matt, Zeb.
Thank you.
Cranston.
So much.
Please watch.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you.